Oh yeah, no, I agree with I agree
No,
with some
no.
sort of. Hold on, no.
Mike, Mike, think of your integrity.
Mike, think of your chance of winning the draft. Welcome to Drafted. I'm your host, Daniel Prentice, and as always, I'm joined by my dear friend and co-host, Preston Thompson. Preston, how are you doing? What are you drinking this afternoon, my friend?
I'm doing so good, Dan. Very happy to be back here. We're done with our March draftness. We're back into the regular format, which means there are more opportunities for me to bring shame to my family and to myself. But that's okay, because I've got my trusty gin and tonic and my trusty little, cup here that I use for pretty much exclusively drafted, and it's going to be great.
We need to get you a drafted. We have drafted versions of the set.
I know. It's in the cabinet. It's in the cabinet.
I mean, I can't give you a hard time. For video watchers, we'll see that I'm the only one on the show today not wearing drafted merch on camera, so I can't give you a hard time.
Rip the brand.
Hang on. Wait a minute. There seems to be some sort of confusion or mix-up here. Mike, we wanted Britt on the show.
Oh.
Yeah, I took over. I said, look, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to be undrafted tonight.
Wow.
I kept the title here on the meeting space as the best nerd. I saw that. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Rub that in Britt's face a little bit more, you know. And speaking of drafted mugs, like I'm all draft. I'm a super fan of this show, you guys. I don't know if you knew that. So it's a pleasure coming on. I kicked Britt out. I was like, this is it. This is my time to shine.
You're also wearing our officially licensed drafted Washington Commanders hat, which we really
That's right, exactly.
That license was very expensive.
Yeah, we 100%. Are getting pummeled in the courts right now.
Yeah, just
the NFL
raked over the goals.
The NFL legal budget really dwarfs the draft.
Yeah, quite a litigious organization. Who would have thought? I had no idea.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah. No, shout out to Mike. Britt had to kind of last minute drop out, unfortunately, and Mike just stepped right in.
Yeah.
So shout out to Mike.
To her major
as if they were the same, which, to be clear, they are not.
But to her major disappointment, she was so sad. She's like researched this topic all day today, and she was like so bummed she wasn't able to make it. But I'm here, and I have her notes. So this is like her and I both drafting.
This is unprecedented. Is someone using someone else's homework to
That's
draft
right.
on.
It was like an hour before I came on. She's like, "You're drafting. Here's my notes." I'm like, "Okay."
Just scribbled in crayon.
Yep.
And Mike, what are you drinking out of that drafted mug? Are you drinking anything special?
Am drinking coffee, and that's it. Yep, just plain
6
coffee.
o'clock at night on a Sunday. Just
WrestleMania is on after this, so I was like,
Yeah.
I need a little caffeine to stay awake for that. Because I'm old now and can't stay awake for things. So
it's hard. Yeah,
it is.
It is hard. One thing that's going to help me fall asleep tonight is my tequila and OJ that I'm drinking for the show. Literally the only alcohol I have in the house currently, and the only mixer. So that's what we're working with. It makes me seem like an alcoholic, but I swear the opposite is true.
That works.
Yeah, the reason I had the orange juice is because I recently celebrated my 31st birthday. And did so. Apparently, it's your champagne birthday. Or your golden birthday. So I was drinking mimosas on a 13-hour Twitch stream. Yeah.
Oh, because your year is the same as the date
I skipped
of the
that
month.
Correct.
Yeah,
I turned 31 on the 31st. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. I thank you, Preston. I did skip really the most important step of what makes it that birthday. Yeah.
I thought just 31 was like a very important year for people, and then I was like quietly excited that I was about to celebrate that.
The only thing I remember,
anybody care? Yeah.
The only thing I remember from 31 is just how like much it hit me that I was no longer young. I was like, now I'm in my 30s. Like I'm no longer like newly 30 or late 20s. Like no, I'm in my 30s.
You're in the
now.
30s. You're deeply in the shit.
Welcome to the club, Depp.
I don't think I'll feel that way until I'm 33 or 34.
Yeah,
because then you're in your mid 30s. You can't say I'm in my early 30s. I'm still fine. Like, hey, can you come out and play tennis? Yeah, I can play tennis. I'm still in my early 30s. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm approaching my last year of 30s, so I'm I'm not like super thrilled about what happens after that.
Well, you still keep the young vibes, Mike. That's really
I appreciate
all that matters.
Thanks.
That's the important thing.
Thanks.
I would have guessed 39. if I had to guess.
You just blew my segue.
I know. I'm
I
sorry.
had a
It
segue
was so
that I
good
was
too.
a slam dunk, and you fucking NBA pushed me in the back.
If you listen,
it's a technical foul.
Was
listen.
that a foul?
Listen.
Yeah, was that a foul?
Listen, co-host.
You weren't
if
even
give
playing
it-
the ball.
Listen, co-host. If you give it to me clean, I will edit it back in.
No, you have to leave this whole bit in.
Yeah, we got to keep it now.
You have to keep it in. Preston, what are we drafting for this episode?
I don't know. I don't care. Okay. So today we are drafting characters from animated Nickelodeon television shows to most want to be stuck on a desert island with. Now, let's just, elephant in the room here. We picked this because we thought Britt was a huge fan of Lost.
Oh yeah. Well,
we
is
were
Mike,
trying
though.
to cater to our guests, but Mike is
I am
also a huge fan
also
of Lost?
yes. That's how we met.
That's how
we
they
met.
bonded. Yeah.
Wow, really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I thought we maybe that was on Friggin' Nerds. We talked about this.
We've
but
definitely discussed it. Preston
Yes.
he's forgetting a detail.
our
about
wedding
most
was
beloved
themed
guest.
after Lost. Like huge thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't remember this? They met and like the first thing they bonded over was like chatting on Facebook about
I think
like,
I
Lost
do.
theories and stuff.
I think I do remember this now. But did we talk about why or how your wedding was themed after Lost? Like, what are the practical things that made it Lost themed?
Yeah, they
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
Have
crashed
like
a
an
plane,
empty plane.
Yeah. We hired a plane.
flew all their guests, crashed it on an island.
Exactly. Yeah. Everybody had to survive a plane crash to make it to the wedding. It was really exciting. But no, we named like all of our tables off of like landmarks in the show, like all the different hatches and the
that's
Black
cool.
Rock, which was a ship and stuff. All of the favors and stuff were themed after Lost. We had several like decorations and stuff all floating around
So fun.
the venue is Lost. Yep. Yeah, it was cool.
Preston, have you ever been to a themed wedding?
Not like a truly we're gonna lean in themed wedding. Recent wedding
me
I was
neither.
at did Lord of the Rings music going down the aisle, and then a Lord of the Rings themed like officiant. There were a lot of like Lord of the Rings themed jokes.
Oh, so
but,
that's more
But
than
people
even
were
our
dressed
experience.
in pretty traditional wedding garb. So
Yeah.
not really. I've never had on like an invitation like you have to show up in this theme. We did get an invite to a wedding recently where the listed attire in the invitation was mountain chic.
Oh
I
yeah,
had-
we discussed this.
I think
Did
we
discuss
discussed
on the
this,
show?
but now it's happened. So now I can reflect and think about
Oh, yeah.
whether or not
Yeah,
I was correct.
Yeah, were you correct? Or I think you texted me for like advice. And what happened? What was the?
I was asking everybody what they thought this meant. I was trying to like
Yeah.
crowdsource what mountain chic might mean.
I just
And-
Googled it and showed you the Google results.
Yep,
was my
which makes a
input.
lot of sense. That's what I should have done. I think I looked very nice. I had a like plaid suit jacket over a gray tie, and like I don't know that seemed like it was a coat and tie, but sort of like a.
Were most people wearing coats and ties?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think anybody understood what it meant. The
Yeah.
variance was wild. There was somebody there in a t-shirt, jeans, and cowboy hat, and then there was somebody there in like a ball gown. So like
T-shirt?
the variance was
What?
just all over
Ball
the
gown.
place.
I don't
Those
understand
are-
ball gown from that.
No.
Unbelievable.
I think I would think of it as like probably like a really nice like tucked in flannel into some like nice slacks with a belt.
That's sort of
Maybe,
what I was
maybe
thinking
some
too.
like nice boots. That would probably be what I would go. Maybe a tie, but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But my wife was gonna get a little more dressed up than that, so I had to sort of escalate.
you do have to match
To
the
match.
date.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's
My-
fair.
I'll
My
post a
brain-
picture of the fit check in the
Yeah.
Discord.
Yeah, my brain goes immediately. Game of Thrones fans, I can't remember if you guys know.
Sure.
Game of Thrones.
Well, not a fan, but I've seen it.
All right, so Jon Snow's like best friend Tormund has got the big red beard and all that. I'm picturing just him,
That's Mountain
Oh
Chic.
yeah,
just as a wildling. Yeah, just walking
That's
into
just-
the wedding. Yeah,
that's just mountain, I think.
I should have worn
Probably
pelts.
doesn't have the chic part, but at least you got half of
actual
it, though.
pelts.
Yeah.
Pelts. You come in with some fresh kill over your shoulder.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my god, Preston reeks. Get him out of here.
I don't know. I don't even know how we got off. How did we start talking? Oh, Lost. That was how we started talking about
Yeah,
Lost.
there you go.
Yes.
But yeah, we're. I don't know why Preston chose the way to describe it. But yeah, just Nickelodeon cartoons.
It seemed like I took the actual topic and I word jumbled it and then read it out loud.
Well, yeah,
'Cause,
yeah. You,
it was the
what
most
you-
confusing way I've ever introduced a draft.
What you did was like it was like those things like you put it into like a translator of a
Translate?
different language and then
Yeah.
you translated it
Back
back
to
to
English.
English. Yeah, that was what happened with your brain.
Yes. Nick animated characters to be trapped on a desert island with. There it is.
Yeah.
We found it.
you guys want to hear the draft order?
Oh,
Yes.
boy, do I.
All right. Preston, you're not going to be happy. Mike has the number 1 pick.
Oh, my God, come on. He didn't
Then
even want
my
to be
s-
here.
Then myself 2, and then Preston 3, of
Oh
course.
my
As always,
God.
Snake Style drafts are reverse order on even rounds. If we're all good to go, Mike, why don't you hit us with the first
Wait.
pick?
What pick was Preston?
He's the third pick.
Third.
Has there ever been a trade of draft position on?
I would be
there
happy
never
to,
has.
Mike.
There
I would
never
be
has.
happy
Don't-
to.
I'm not going to allow this.
You're not going to allow it?
It's been vetoed by the commish. Wait,
Okay.
I have a question. Is
Yeah.
is our draft philosophy here trying to get off the island, or is it you are trapped here, like you're not going to be able to get off? So it's more about like building a good environment.
I think you have to spend some time on the island. But I think it's reasonable to try to build your team that might give you some long-term getting off the island potential.
So there's no like I'm going to draft an animated boat so I can get off and go
Yeah.
home. None of
Yeah.
that. Okay, got it. Cool.
Correct.
Google searching
You
animated
could
boat.
draft someone who would maybe help you build a boat, after you've been there
Sure.
for a little while.
Got it.
But no like immediate get off the island scenarios, because then you're not picking a team the rest of the draft. And what's
It's
the
true.
fun of that?
Yeah, I'm just going to pick blanks.
All right, Mike, where you
man.
going? Number 1.
All right, so I've got a lot. I feel like I have a lot of options as an early pick, and this is why I was wanting to trade down to 3, because I feel I kind of like the idea of going back to back versus waiting for a while.
You don't get to go back to back. You'll just have to wait for it.
True. But so what Britt's brain translated to my brain, we're targeting several like categories of types
Okay.
of characters to help build out. We're doing 6, right? Is it 6?
6, yep.
Yep. So to build out our team of 6 folks that we're stuck on this island with, and so I've got categories I'm going to be hitting here, and I'm not going to read them all off because I don't want you to
Sure.
get a little.
Don't give us the whole blueprint.
Exactly. So, but first off, I mean, you got to survive, right? You got to have some survival.
I mean, yeah.
And so,
It's who is it? What's the guy's name? Maslow
You got to give me more than that. Maslow's
hi-
hierarchy of
No,
needs.
no.
The
No,
most
the
principal
hierarchy of
one
needs,
is
yeah.
being alive.
Yeah. Maslow, yeah.
Maslow.
Is it Maslow or Laszlo? Oh, okay.
It's Maslow.
Shelter,
I always thought
food,
it was
and some other
Laszlo,
stuff.
but I recently looked it up, like completely unrelated to this.
Recently, like
but yeah,
8 seconds ago. Yeah.
No. Oh, well, I just
We heard you
confirmed it just
typing,
now.
yeah.
I just confirmed it, but like a week or 2 ago. Yeah, and it's Maslow. Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
All right. So I was going to go survival, but I think I'm pivoting now that I'm thinking more about it. I'm glad that
Oh, wow.
that
Good.
Dap
Just keep him
had-
talking, Dan. He'll
Yeah,
ruin it.
yeah, right. Oh, see, this is I'm struggling with number 1. I wish I did not have this top pick.
You're giving me hope that you're going to miss the clear number 1 choice here, and it's going to
I
be
think so
devastating when
too,
you
but I'm not
when you
sure
take the
Dan and
right
I
choice, but
have the same one. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's an obvious number 1. But
yeah, I agree.
I'm getting consulted over here on the side here. Yes, this is the first pick. I only have 2 options according to Britt. I felt like I had way more than this.
she said,
Man,
"Don't mess it up."
now there's even more pressure on me.
Oh my God.
Mike, you got this, man. You got this.
All right, I'm going back to survival. I feel like this is going to be.
Remember the hierarchy of needs, Mike.
Just hear no. Being shouted
Hey,
in the
Britt,
background.
Britt, this is not your episode, Britt. We'll get you on
Go
later.
away. Get out of here.
Gosh, now there's so much pressure because
can do
now I
this.
know that she's drafting over my shoulder.
Yeah, that is tough. I've never had to
Backseat
draft
drafter.
with
Yeah, me
those.
neither.
Yeah, I've never had to experience that.
All right. I'm going to go with Jenny Wakeman from the My Life as a Teenage Robot animated show.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Now,
Interesting.
this falls into our category of just overall powerful and overall just it's a terrible pick is what I'm hearing from over my shoulder here. She is a robot.
Just mic her up. Just get her.
Yeah, I know.
mic
Like,
up.
would you like to come sit down? Would you like to come over here and make?
Listen, Britt, you put Mike at the helm. You got to
Yeah,
let him
she gave me
cook.
notes and I'm
Yeah.
cooking.
Let the man operate.
She is a robot.
I gave you a recipe to be fine.
He's going off book.
The recipe, I remember Jenny was at the top.
We've never experienced this type of dynamic.
Yeah, this is strange.
Like,
this is strange.
What was it? Mystery Science Theater 3000 or whatever that show is called?
basically
you
what
get
it is.
heckled the entire
yelling.
time.
Yeah.
Except we're the movie. We're not like we're not the show.
Yeah.
We're the movie
She's
being
the commentary.
watched.
She's saying,
Yeah.
"Don't go in there. The murderer's in there." Yeah.
Yep. All
I
right.
remember this show. Jenny honestly is a good pick. I do think there's a very clear number one, and that it wasn't Jenny, in my opinion.
Okay.
So that will change the value. But yeah, I mean, she can do pretty much anything. She also is like pretty cool and pretty chill. The show didn't last very long.
Yeah, it only went for like 3 years.
I wouldn't even guess that long, but I do remember it. And I remember it being about like there was like the guy that had the crush on her, even though she wasn't a real live human being. But like she was created because her mom wanted a daughter or something, or her dad. I can't remember what. I feel like she had a single sibling or a single parental unit. But yeah, powerful sentient robots.
You
Seems like a
think of
pretty good,
any type of ability, and she has it.
She could do it. Yeah.
Superhuman reflexes, speed,
Human
agility,
organs.
durability.
Does she have human organs?
No.
Oh.
That's what I was trying.
She can start a fire for you. She can build a shelter for you real quick. She can
hunt. Exactly. Look, Dap and I are saying the same things. I'm liking it.
Yeah.
That's my first pick.
I think if there weren't the pick I'm about to make, it would be a good first pick.
Oh.
I'm just gonna get right to it. I'm taking Cosmo and Wanda, the Fairly Odd Parents.
You're gonna get them both?
I mean, they're a
They're
duo.
a unit? Like, what do you mean they're a duo?
Now,
hold
now
on.
They're a
now.
pair.
Now
You
listen, hold
cannot
on,
get
hold on.
both. Not a chance in hell.
Why
I'm
don't I
getting
get both?
I'm
what do you
getting
mean, why
some
don't I get both?
What's
getting
Britt saying?
some memory here of Britt telling me about some of the stuff that she looked at. She had written down she was going to ask if she could draft Timmy Turner because does he come with Wanda and Cosmo?
No,
absolutely.
Oh,
So-
Daniel's very confident about this.
Yeah,
If
so
they're Cosmo and
there's the
Wanda, they
question.
could be drafted
So wait.
together.
Yeah, so
Makes
there's
no
the question then.
fucking
So
sense.
how can Daniel get both Wanda and Cosmo?
So
Because
so,
they're a pair. It's like when I drafted Snap Crackle and Pop in the Serial Wrestling League draft.
they're on the same. They're the same mascot. Like we were drafting mascots, and they are collectively the mascot. This is not the same situation. Not even close.
Mike, I'm gonna let me sidebar with Mike here. Mike,
No.
Yeah.
if you let me make this pick here, then only one person gets fairy godparents. Whereas
Don't
if you
do
let
this.
Preston split them up, then we both get fairy godparents and you get none.
Oh yeah,
this.
no, I agree with I agree
No,
with some
no.
sort of. Hold on, no.
Mike, think of your integrity.
Mike, think of your chance of winning the draft.
Yeah, I do. I don't want two of these fairies floating around here.
This is dumb. This should not be allowed. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. There are episodes where they get separated from each other, and the goal becomes to get the other one back.
Yeah, but those are the worst episodes of the show, probably.
They're not the same They're not the
All right,
same
listen.
person.
Okay, then why are they both his fairy godparent?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a lore explanation for that.
Probably. I think you have to pick one, and
Yes.
I just have to deal with the fact that there are going to be two.
All right, you're
Very
screwing
powerful.
yourself here,
Think of
Mike.
the
I know.
integrity of the show.
You're screwing yourself here, Mike. You've already lost. You've lost with this decision.
But now
I
you
want
do-
you to sleep with that at night.
You do have
It's
to make a
okay.
decision about which one is better.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Wanda. I mean, it's a clear choice.
Yeah.
Cosmo's a fucking idiot. And
Oh, it's almost like they're different. It's almost like they're two different people, and they have distinct personalities, features, and characteristics.
Then so does Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Probably. I don't know.
Not really. Not really.
I feel like we've had other pairs lined up. We'll let the people get at it in the comments. What if they think they should have been separate picks or not? But Cosmo would be more fun, but I feel like it's a lot easier to get fun later on. And I just get Wanda's sheer competence, which
Yeah. Huge game.
is what I am valuing much more highly here.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you're going to have to pick between the two, which you do
Yeah.
have to, because there are
Fine,
standards on this
fine.
show. We have
Listen,
principles here.
Listen, if I didn't get the first pick, if I didn't get the pick of the Fairly Odd Parents, I would have made the same argument.
But yeah, see?
There we go. Yes, thank you.
But we're not in that situation. We're in a situation where I'm trying to get both.
Greedy.
Yeah, well,
Greedy.
I'm trying to win, you know.
All right. Well, this
If
is
you
the
ain't
least.
cheating, you ain't trying.
This is the least dramatic pick in the history of Drafted because
Yeah, I wonder where Preston's going to go.
I'm going to take the other one.
Then what's his
take
name?
Cosmo.
The other one, yeah.
Cosmo.
Okay.
Even the sort of can't find his head, can't screw it on straight kind of thing, will still be fine. He's still got incredible magical powers that are going to be very, very useful.
Mike, were Cosmo and Wanda the ones that Britt were the two that Britt
No.
wanted you to take? Really?
They're on her list, but that's not the two that she wrote down in red ink on
She's
my
always
paper
thinking
after I
outside
made
the
my first
box.
pick.
I'm shocked by that.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right, Preston. Let's see if you can make up the difference in value between Wando. Remember when they're Wando and Cosma? They gender bend. Remember that episode?
I do remember that.
I was picturing them doing the fusion dance in DBZ or something.
I don't remember the context of that happening, but I do remember that it did happen. Let's see if Preston makes the value difference up by having back-to-back picks here instead of having to.
Well, I'm going to because I'm drafting somebody who I think was in contention for should have been top pick, but I do think Daniel's logic is sound and that it should have been one of the Fairly Odd Parents as top pick. But I'm going to take Avatar Aang, the last Airbender.
That was it. That was
And
it.
I mean,
Yeah,
talk
that was
about a
what Britt's pissed
utility
about.
player. And also just like, here's what you got to consider on the Desert Island thing. We're not just getting his technical abilities, which I very much appreciate. He seems kind, seems generous, seems giving. And that's what we need. We're going to have to keep this family together. 6 people is a lot to try and manage in this situation. 7, because it's who would you most want to be stuck on a desert island with. So there's a lot of people to try and figure this out. And you need someone who is, going to be fighting on behalf of the least of us. You know what I mean? So I'm taking the hero. I'm taking Avatar Aang. And end of series Avatar Aang, to be clear.
Oh, where he has all of them.
Where he's,
all of the
good
benders
at stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
all right. Have either of you seen The Legend of Korra?
Yes.
No.
I knew you were going to bring this up. I was
is
prepared
there
for this
any
discussion.
Is there any value Aang brings over Korra? And I'm trusting you to be truthful about this.
Okay, the value that Aang brings over Korra is recognition with our voting audience. I think that might be the only value because I do think Korra seems to be by the end of her series more talented. She's older.
She's older, which is really critical, I think.
Yes, but I would say earlier in her show, just like early in Aang's show, they both exercise sort of a lack of maturity. Korra's is considerably more stark. I think her mistakes as I'm going to be a teenager and be rebellious are so much worse than Aang's are, where he's just trying to have fun. So, like, well, I don't know that I trust personality-wise Korra as much as I trust Aang, who's sort of, like, been through the shit when he was younger. I think Korra still has some growing to do, even by the end of her show.
I will say, in defense of Korra, without having seen the show,
seen the first 2 seasons for context. So
having seen lots of, having seen all of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Korra, it makes a lot of sense that Korra would be more rebellious, depending, based on her age.
Yes. I'm not saying it makes for a bad television show. It's much more entertaining, I think.
Oh, well, I'm saying,
not much more entertaining, but you know what I mean.
I'm saying as characters, though, like Korra, just based on her age. Like, Aang is, like, what, like 11, 12?
Yeah.
He's not, like, a rebellious teenager. He's just kind of like a little kid, like, running around having fun. So I feel like that, like, explains the difference of, those personalities.
Just speaking from parental experience, 12 years old is not just having fun and, just a kid. That's labeled as preteen, and they're a ball of fun, if we want to call it that.
Yeah. Like an air ball of fun that he rolls around on in the first episode. Yeah, I mean, it's a very solid pick. I had Aang, and I have I don't usually do this for my list, but I had like Dream Team. Like if I just pick my 6, like I'm trying to change the way I prep for my drafts. I think when I with my tier lists, I hem and haw too much. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and take Korra here, who is as Preston said, Aang, but with less nostalgic connection, probably for most.
And I think has maybe some personality problem, but I think that's it's pretty weak argument. Before we move on, have you guys watched the live action show?
No, I have not.
And I never will.
All right, well,
never.
This is gonna
not
be
even
pretty,
considering.
Nah.
I think that's the right call, to be honest.
Oh, gotcha.
I wish I could unsee it.
That is this. See, this is mostly what I have heard. If I had heard it was good, I would have watched it.
Yeah, totally.
But I was very skeptical because one, I think the whole like let's recreate the show that already existed, but make it live or whatever movie or whatever. Like that's a big red flag for me. I'm like inclined to not be into those. And then the original creators were supposed to be part of the show and left very early in the process of the show.
Citing creative differences. Not like we're too busy, but they cited an actual conflict.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
I agree with you, Dan. Like, it's always a red flag, and this happens with Disney all the time, that they just don't actually have respect for the craft of animation. So then they just don't care. They're like, well, it's live action, so it's going to be better. Like, why wouldn't it be? But the main thing is here that I wanted to say about this, and then we can move on. But this is the only platform I get to talk about things because my wife is just like she's found noise canceling headphones and she just stopped.
well, this and your Draft Head Talks, which will be our subscriber bonus for Patreon supporters.
My Draft Head Talks are purely now just like Preston wants to talk for 45 minutes.
Preston's platform.
Yeah, Preston's platform for nonsense. That's what they should be called. But anyways, this is our show or movie, I guess, where it has been most clear to me that the reason it is bad is because of directing and writing. It's very difficult sometimes when you're watching a movie to be like, is the movie bad or are the people on screen not engaging me well enough? Sometimes that line is very fine. It's very difficult to tell what is making you feel like, this isn't very fun. But this show is incredibly obvious that the writing is awful. Which is insane to me because there is source material. It's such bad writing that you would imagine they were creating this from scratch and just missed, but no. And then the directing is terrible, where you're seeing a kid, because these are child actors, do a take that's bad, and the director's not like, hey, maybe we should take that one again. And this is what you should be feeling in this moment. They're not getting any of that. It is so easy to tell. So I don't understand what's happening with this thing, but it is so bad that it makes me viscerally angry. So I would encourage all of you out there to not partake, even though it's been renewed now for seasons 2 and 3.
Yeah, but just to clarify, you were speaking of the new show that just came out, right? Not the live action movie that wasn't it?
Here's
M. Night
Shyamalan.
did it.
Here's the worst thing I can possibly say. The new show made me nostalgic for the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
What?
I was like, I want to go back and watch that. That actually was fun.
Holy crap.
And it's not, to be clear, it's really bad. But
it's worse though than the
only benefit the live action show could possibly have is it would maybe turn people towards the original animated series, which is glorious and amazing, and it's pretty perfect start to finish. So I hope it does that instead of whatever the hell it was trying to do. There are just so many bad decisions made. But anyways, we can move on now.
I will say I think this is the worst review I've heard, but I've not really heard anyone say no, it's actually good and you should watch it.
I think it's one of those shows where the more you like the original content, the less you're going to like the new content. There are a couple things you can sort of think of in media. Like, there are a lot of people who find the Hobbit movies inoffensive. I am not one of them because I know the source material so well that the mistakes make me very angry. Whereas you could just watch those movies and be like, yeah, these are fine. No problems. So I think it's one of those situations where I watched the original series maybe 4 or 5 times all the way through. Yeah. So I had low expectations for the live action show, and it tripped over a bar that was an inch and a half off the ground.
Wow.
Speaking of tripping over a bar, I think a lot of people would say that Mike's first pick of this draft may have been a
considering
large trip.
The next 4 picks were all people with superpowers.
Well, it's interesting too because you guys went both from Fairly Odd Parents and then both from the Avatar. We went
Fairy Godparent.
Interesting.
Avatar.
Very original picks.
That's how I thought this was going to start. Mike, here's your actual argument that I think is going to come up later in the draft. It's unclear whether or not the robots need to eat. So they won't be taking supplies from
100%.
Organic beings.
Oh, yeah. No, it's very clear they do not need to eat.
So there you go.
Sustainable without...
There's your argument.
Exactly. 100%.
The argument kind of goes out of out when I have a person who can just I can just wish for more food from.
That's true.
See, yeah, the magical superpower land is tough to beat, but
It's okay though, Mike. Let's see how you recover.
Brit,
See how you
Brit
bounce
would
back.
have weathered this storm. So what are you gonna do?
yeah,
Mike?
100%. Yeah, no, I'm ready. I'm ready to keep moving here. So, I am gonna go with somebody. I need a genius. I need somebody, as we talked about earlier. We're not going to be
Can I
stuck.
pencil in this pick already then?
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead
maybe.
and do it.
Yeah, pencil it in. Let's see if it's right. We're trying to sustain life on the island, and we're also trying to potentially get off the island. We need an inventor. We need somebody that can engineer some stuff. I'm going to take Jimmy Neutron as my selection here to help sustain. Well, I've got a robot in my pick one. He can help repair things with Jenny here, but he can build things. He can sustain life on the island as quick as we can and try to get off the island as fast as we can. So Jimmy Neutron would be my selection here at number 2, a super genius scientist.
I think in isolation, Jimmy Neutron's a very strong pick. And maybe this is a stretch, but I am seeing some potential chemistry issues here with there being a non-Jimmy built robot on the island with Jimmy. I feel like Jimmy's going to want to tinker.
Oh,
He's going to want to try to improve Jenny, and she's not going to take too kindly to that, which I wouldn't either if I were her.
interesting.
And Jimmy, it always kind of works out in Jimmy's favor eventually. But pretty much every single episode, his big brain actually gets in the way, and things really go haywire. So I'm worried that if you put him in a real life or death situation, that maybe things going haywire gets you killed before things turn out okay in the end.
Maybe, unless he had a partner that could help. He could help bounce ideas off of with.
Oh!
Which maybe
Is
another pick later in the
A
draft.
double pick? Okay. Let's
Potentially.
hear the complimentary pick now before we get.
I'm gonna
to
wait
the-
on that one. I'm gonna wait
okay.
on that one. Yeah. So,
Okay.
but yeah. So Jimmy Neutron is my second pick. Third pick. Or I'm back to back, right here.
Oh, wait. So you're risking getting the complimentary pick later?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't think he's gonna be picked.
Okay.
Oh, it's a he. Okay.
What a
think
tease.
about
Is it Carl Weezer? Are you going to take Carl Weezer, Mike?
Yes, that's it. You peeked into my list here to know that's what I circled it way at the bottom. Last pick. But no, I'm gonna go with my third pick here. And this is a survivalist. This falls into my survival category. She has the ability to speak.
Damn it!
To animals.
I realized with her
Her
third
father is an amazing survivalist that had a TV show. He's like Crocodile Dundee, just in cartoon land, right? Eliza Thornberry is going to be my third
It's a great
overall.
pick. I was really hoping I'd get her third. If I got her third, I would have been Dream Start for me.
Yeah, that makes me
I
very
thought
happy.
you guys were gonna go fairy godparent, and that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna go either Avatar, or Avatar.
Hearing this makes me
Eliza.
even more happy.
So
yes,
I think that's a good value for you.
and I
Just like that.
purposely put Eliza as my third pick, not my second, just to show more value in the third round than in the second.
That's
That's
metagame.
good. That's how you
some
do
good
it.
Metagame.
So people vote and think about that. Third round pick,
Think about it.
Eliza Thornberry.
I mean, this is a great pick, Mike. This is such a good pick. I mean, she is the one that I literally drew a star next to her name on my list for her being my next pick. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I guess that there are other means potentially of communicating with animals, but just on surface level, on paper, it's such a huge value. And you're right. And that's not like her only thing. Like, she's just at home out in the wild, as to keep a very calm head.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just a great pick.
And she's got experience in the wild with her dad in the show. So just I had this little tidbit on her page on Fandom that I wanted to read out to help with the pick. The character design supervisor, Patrick Deneen, said that Eliza grows up to host her own wildlife survival show at the age of 22. So she just she follows in her father's footsteps. And she is
It's a Steve Irwin, Robert Irwin situation,
100%,
which is adorable.
100%.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Thanks.
Great pick. In my opinion, that pick is actually the last of the picks.
Clear-cut choice.
Like, yeah, that's like obvious kind of like superhuman ability that naturally lends itself to being a very strong, helpful characteristic in the situation. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to pivot to just getting someone who I would just be super chill spending time with on a
I think I know who
desert
you're
island.
gonna go with here. I have a
Really?
guess, but go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
You'll have-
because
you'll have to
it's the
say
same
it
person.
for
It's
your-
the same person that was on my list, and I was like, if ever I need somebody who's just not gonna cause any problems, I'm gonna take this one. But go ahead.
Well,
I
want
want to see.
I mean, I'm not even thinking like not causing problems. I think probably of every single Nickelodeon character, there's not one that I would rather genuinely meet in real life and have just limitless conversation with. He also does, in a pinch, bring bending ability along with him.
I'm
taking-
super intrigued by what
I'm taking Uncle Iroh.
That's interesting.
Okay.
That is not who I was thinking of, but honestly is an upgrade over who I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. I'm so intrigued to hear who you were thinking of.
I was thinking of essentially the same character, but you got this guy with superpowers, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
Also, just confirming, also from Avatar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, listen, when you have a show about superpowers and you're stranded on a desert island, like, what do you expect, man?
You're just
Yeah.
gonna keep plucking from the
The
Avatar
voters
world.
will
How about-
award the
how about-
amount of creativity they expect, you know?
Maybe unfair to say, but how about no more than 2 characters on your team from the same show? Although,
Oh, I'm fine if you want to keep going.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
this
okay.
is fine. I'm just pointing it out for the voters.
Yeah. Good. Smart.
I listen. I'm not worried about people voting against Uncle Iroh. I gotta be honest. I feel like Uncle Iroh is one of the most beloved characters of particularly people our generation that have ever watched Nickelodeon shows.
Agreed. Yeah, I think you really knocked it out of the park there.
Thank you.
In terms of like, he's gonna keep things very calm.
Very chill.
Gonna keep everybody like
So
solution
insightful and
oriented.
wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Dang it. I didn't even have it on the list. I was sort of
Really?
like
Oh, man.
I think my research, the way I did it, sort of led me to a lot of like protagonists,
characters?
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uncle Iroh is my protagonist, if I'm being honest.
He's got main character vibes.
So, I don't want to just take more benders. I thought about it though. It's like all these people are useful.
The entire
Most of
Avatar
Several on
cast.
my list.
Most of them get along, so like let's just go
Yeah.
for it. But no, I'm gonna venture outside and hope that the voters respect the creativity. I'm gonna take the protagonist of a show that I didn't watch a ton of. I might be relying on the two of you to either prove or disprove why this pick is great. I think it's great because it's another character with superpowers, and that's always going to be useful. And, you know, if we're in a situation like Lost, there could be some weird stuff going on.
Oh, I know who you're gonna pick, and I
Some
think it's
very
a great pick.
weird things happening.
I know who it is, too.
Potentially
Yep.
some paranormal things.
Yep.
So I'm going to take Danny Phantom.
Yes.
Danny Phantom.
Wonderful pick.
Danny Phantom.
I wasn't as into Danny Phantom. I did watch it for a little bit. I have a hard time kind of thinking about how his powers would really be helpful. I mean, unless you're in like a true Lost scenario where there is paranormal ghost activity happening.
He's got some offensive abilities. He can shoot like lasers out of his hands. We don't need to explain
Okay.
why.
Well,
but
probably not
He,
lasers.
he
but-
also can control. He has like ice powers at some point too, like later in
He
the
has
show.
ice powers? Why does
Yes.
he have ice powers?
Ghostly stuff. He's got phantom
Yeah,
powers.
Dan.
So like
Read a book.
D&D stuff, bro. When you get to the ghost stuff, man, you get like ice chilling
I'm
powers
trying to
and stuff
remember.
like that.
How does he become a ghost? Or how does he become Danny Phantom? Doesn't he morph with a ghost and his parents' ghost?
Yeah, his parents were ghost hunters or something, and then
researchers, yeah.
he
They have, like, a
like
portal, like a
accidentally
ghost
goes through a portal or something and gets the powers.
And he gains powers. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while, but
Yeah.
it's actually
that.
it's actually a show I didn't watch, but my Micah watched. So
Oh yeah. It was a little bit later.
Yeah.
Which was probably part of why I didn't watch it as much. It definitely did not have like the long-lasting resonance that a lot of the Nickelodeon shows that I did watch had. But I definitely had him on the list. I mean, just as a de facto superhero. So it's hard to fault the pick too much. Preston, have you found anything that like specific about Danny Phantom that would be?
I mean, he can sense spirits that might be working against us. He can do invisibility, but the ghost rays, I think, are helpful.
The ghost rays, just as a hunter, basically, or just
Yeah.
He also has the ability to fly, so he's got some
flying
some
is
traveling.
nice. Yeah,
Flying is very nice.
I don't know why I'm
Yeah.
helping your pick, but
No, I
like
appreciate
the
it.
pick.
it's what we do on the show sometimes. That does bring us to the halfway point of the draft. Here are the teams so far. Mike has Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot, Jimmy Neutron and Eliza Thornberry. I have Wanda from Fairly Odd Parents, Cora and Uncle Iroh. Preston has Cosmo, Aang, and Danny Phantom. We're going to take a quick halftime breather. Be back with the second half of the draft in just a minute.
Guys, it's that time of year again. It's March Draftness. We've got brand new March Draftness merch in the shop, all inspired by your favorite college basketball teams. We hope you like it. If you do have a favorite team that's not represented yet, let us know. We'd be happy to make some for you. So yeah, check out the shop. Link in the show notes. Happy March Madness. Happy March Draftness. And thanks so much for all your support with all of our merch. It means a lot.
Okay, we are back for the second half of the Nick Toon to be shared on an island with draft. Preston, we have the first pick of the fourth round.
Okay. I had a character on here who I had circled a bunch of times and said, this is the 6th round sleeper.
How many times?
Maybe
Oh, God.
four? Four and a half?
circles, wow.
So I was like, this is the 6th round sleeper.
We're moving up 2 rounds
This
early.
this is the one that people are going to forget. I'm doing it 2 rounds early because I'm going to try and get a world-class snipe on Mike here.
This feels
Wow.
I'm going to
He's
I'm
reaching
gonna reach to try
just to
and-
try to get a
Well,
snipe on
the
me.
more I've been thinking
Okay.
about this character, the more I've been thinking at how useful he would be. Like, so useful, it's almost ridiculous. That, like, I have the superpowered humans, but, like, I need tools. I basically need the best multi-tool that's ever been invented. I need a multi-tool that can do 11 million and 4 things, according to the show's lore. And I'm taking Goddard the dog
man.
from Jimmy Neutron. Goddard the dog has an unbelievable amount of stuff just in his back pocket. He's got
He's like a giant Swiss
yeah,
Army
he's
knife.
got
yeah.
blades to cut stuff down. He's got little laser eyes. He's got a little helicopter thing that can fly him up in the sky. I mean, like, the dude seems to have a solution to every single problem that Jimmy gets himself into. And by the way, I was going to make that point that you just made on the show earlier, Dan, that the crux of Jimmy Neutron is that he's always pretty bad at the stuff he tries to do. So, like, I do think there's a problem there. We'll get to it later when we're judging each other's teams. But Goddard, very often, is saving this kid's ass. And would you rather have the inventor or the thing he invented? You know?
Yeah, I would say faultless character. Really,
Yeah.
Goddard.
Without fault.
It was good. I liked it. Yeah.
Basically, you just took Mike's number 1 overall pick, but without being able to speak English.
That's fine. He can clearly
Yeah, I
understand
like,
English.
that's a good synopsis. Yeah.
There's probably like a
Yeah.
ChatGPT plugin to teach him English. It's fine.
One thing that pops to mind for Goddard, he does. I mean, to be honest, the fairy godparents are just so breaking because just literally nothing is an issue.
Literally nothing is an issue.
I was gonna say, in isolation, Goddard can be an issue on an island because he eats like bolts, nuts and bolts, which you would have a hard time finding on a. And maybe it's just for show. Maybe it's just aesthetic. He doesn't actually need to eat to like have energy or continue existing. But I would guess that's not the case. But you just have Cosmo who can wish nuts and bolts.
And also a solution to all of the problems. Yeah, they are a little bit game breaking.
Oh, you want to get off the
Yeah,
island?
there you go. So
Done.
long.
Well, we all agree you do have to stay
Yes,
on the island.
for at least a time. A castaway's
Oh,
amount of
would
time.
you like to turn the island into a tropical paradise?
Yeah, there you
Done.
go. Would you like a
Good
Chili's
memory,
on this
yeah.
island? Here you go.
Yeah.
How long was Tom Hanks? It was like years.
Was
right?
it years?
Oh, that's a good
How
question to look
long
up.
I think it was because
Was
I mean
Castaway Guy.
his girlfriend or fiance or whatever had enough time that she grieved him and moved on and was with another.
How long was
person
Castaway
by the
Guy
time
on
he
the
moved back
island?
to her.
4 years. Wow.
Ooh.
That's a long time. What a sad film. Anyways,
Is that's our like benchmark?
I don't think
That's
it
what
can
we're
be. That's
saying?
insane.
No, I'm walking
That's a lot.
back. 4 years too long.
We're gonna say like a month.
4 years too long.
A Survivor season amount of time.
Okay.
A month.
Survivor season amount of
A
time.
month
Yeah.
is good. A month is good. All right. I am going back to the well.
More
I
benders.
don't think I... No, not that well. There's no one on my board that... I mean, that's tremendous value by Preston, but that's really a brilliant pick. I didn't have Goddard on my list, and I
makes
feel
me so
dumb
I did
about
not
that.
either, and I feel
He can
terrible.
do 11 million in 4 things.
But I am going to go back in kind of on the same page as Preston, which is get the value of someone that Mike took minus one thing. The question is which one do I take? Which Thornberry parent do I want?
Yeah. Yep.
Nigel is the obvious one, but he's kind of a buffoon.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm so safe with how the rest of my team is built. I kind of just want people who are not going to create disaster by doing something foolish. And so by that logic, I'm going to take Marianne Thornberry, who, has been there with her husband for every single second of the naturing and adventuring and surviving wilderness. And she survived however many years she's been in a family with Nigel.
Yes.
Which feels pretty impressive as well. So I'm going with Marianne. She just is going to give very calm, confident, motherly vibes to the whole group, keep morale up, which at this point is really the only thing that I could even possibly be worried about. But when push comes to shove in a pinch as well, if it's just me and her, we go off on our own and I need someone to save me from whatever, snake or something, she won't be able to speak to it, but she'll probably be able to help me through that situation. So I'm taking Marianne.
I think that's better than Nigel. I think I agree with your logic there. Nigel kind of gives off similar vibes to what you said about Jimmy Neutron. He's really great at what he does, but he sometimes screws himself up. And then his wife or daughter is there to help patch
Save the
things
day.
over. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that pick. I think Britt wrote next to Marianne here, cool in high-pressure natural disasters and events.
Yeah. High
Boom.
praise.
Thank you, Britt.
Yep.
Thank you, Britt.
Yep.
All right, Mike.
All right.
Back to back once again.
So I'm kind of thinking of in the same vein as what you were just thinking about, just general morale of being stuck on an island and making sure everybody's cool, calm, and collected. And so my next 2 picks are going to fall in to that category, but in 2 different ways. It's also from the same franchise, and so they're going to pair really well together, just in general. And so I'm going to go first off with basically the leader, the one that everybody turns to get advice, to give direction, but in a very calm and confident way, and that is going to be Master Splinter from the Ninja Turtles franchise.
Oh.
I knew you were going to go Ninja
Is
Turtles.
Ninja
And so-
Turtles a Nickelodeon property at its core?
It originated as a comic book,
Right.
But all of the cartoons since 2010 have been all owned by Nick.
Really?
I know they are definitely on the there's an official list of these are all
And
the
they are
Nickelodeon
on?
cartoons.
Oh
and
yes,
It just
Oh, yeah,
just didn't occur to me, or else I
nick.com/shows/Teenage
would have taken
Mutant Ninja
Master
Turtles.
Splinter already. That's a great pick.
Yes.
I love it.
All right, as someone who really is not very familiar with TMNT beyond the Turtles themselves, what is Splinter? He's just a smart guy, right? He's the
He's
rat
the
guy
Mr.
So
What's
he's-
the guy's name from Karate Kid?
Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, he's the Mr.
Yeah,
Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi, very calm. He's the father figure of the 4 turtles, and he He is incredibly smart, cool, collected. Never loses his cool in those situations. And yeah, he's just overall just a natural
Yeah, I
leader.
would agree.
I will say, Mike, I think your team more than any of the three was desperate for this value.
Yes.
I mean, because until now you were a team of children.
Oh yes. And Splinter has a lot of experience dealing with teenagers and children.
Yeah, they were all gonna be like, "Oh God,
That's very true.
what are we doing? What are we doing? Our moms."
Yes. Splinter is there, rounding up the herd
Absolutely
here
needed that.
and
Daniel
keeping
is
everybody
so
calm.
Right.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
needed basically a teacher. Somebody to be like, everybody shut up.
You needed an adult.
Here's what we're doing. Everybody shut
Yes.
up.
Yeah. So for that reason alone, I
too.
like the pick a lot.
Awesome. Now, I'm going completely opposite of that idea. I need somebody that keeps the laughs coming, that can maybe tell an amazing story, beachside by the campfire. He's kind of the entertainment value of this horrendous event that's happened to us being stuck on the island. He lets us get, immersed in, it gets our mind off things, right?
Sure.
Makes us laugh a little bit. Again, from the same franchise, keeps it cool, keeps it calm. I'm going Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles.
Why
as well.
him over the other three? I think is the natural question.
Well, Raph is a little bit too hot-headed. Raph is
we're all
going to
aware.
cause
Yeah.
a lot of, cause a lot of issues with any type of decision making. He tends to go solo. Leo was on my list as a leader, but Splinter's just
Yes.
better. Leo is just kind of Splinter Jr. I want to get the best leader there. Donatello, I can't talk too much about because he's still technically on my board. So
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 everything about him stinks. He's just the worst.
yeah, he's terrible. He's
would ever want him?
He's terrible. He's terrible.
Who would ever want him?
But no, Michelangelo, he again has a very calm personality. He's going to keep everybody chill and relaxed. Like, everybody, chill out, dudes. Let's go throw this coconut around and have some fun. He's gonna take a lot of the stress out of the situation.
Well,
plus he's a
you
ninja.
could have done what Daniel attempted to do and just take all four of them together.
I could have. Yeah. I could have. Yeah. It could have been Avatar versus Ninja Turtles on this
That's
draft.
fun. Sounds like a fun game.
Avatar wins, right?
Isn't there there's a Nickelodeon Brawl?
Unfortunately,
All-Stars?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, it's not very good. Are the turtles in that?
The two of them are. I know Leo and Mikey are. I don't
You
know if
gotta
they did
fork
all
out
four
some
of them.
DLC money for the other two, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah. It's not worth playing though.
Yeah,
So.
I played it a little bit at a bar. had a good
Nigel's
time,
in it though.
Yeah, the like,
Yep.
it is fun enough to cycle through all the characters probably once and
Right.
then stop.
Yep. Yep.
I did like it better than the Warner Brothers one that came out recently with LeBron. That was wild.
Oh
It's just not
yeah.
very good.
From his
LeBron and Batman.
Batman?
I'm pretty
got
sure the
Arya
game was
Stark
just
from
called
Game of
LeBron and
Thrones,
I think
that was all
Yeah.
they needed to call it.
I think people just need to realize that
The fighting genre is dead.
That
It's
genre-
owned.
no,
It's owned by one
it's not dead.
franchise. Good
It's
luck
just-
trying.
It's just too powerfully that kind. Obviously,
Street
there's like
Fighter,
Tekken and
sure,
Mortal Kombat
yeah.
that are very successful, but that kind of like cartoonish fighting
Platform
game
fighter.
from like characters that aren't fighting. Yeah,
Good freaking
people
luck.
just
Sort
missed
of.
out
I
on it.
honestly like the kart
just missed out
racing
on it.
thing. I played a lot of what's it called, Disney Speedstorm, and I had a great time.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it. But at every single moment, I was like, I should just play Mario Kart instead.
it's not
I was like, this is
It
just
was-
more fun.
It was the closest to Mario Kart though,
Yes.
in level of
And
enjoyment
I did
that
really
I got
enjoy
out of any of the other
courses feel
racers.
very much like the movies. They're using the licensed soundtracks
Yes.
from them, so I'm like, okay, this is an actual potential because
It-
of the license to be better than Mario Kart, but it wasn't quite
Yeah.
at it for me.
It would have been an incredible game if Mario Kart didn't exist.
It's definitely one where, like, if all of my friends played that.
It's free to play,
free.
right?
If all of my friends played that and not Mario Kart, then I would have no problems. It's definitely something like that.
See, that's the trick with games like that. For Mario Kart, I don't know that Mario Kart is that much better than any racing game, but it's the one that everyone has. And that's
the hard part.
Value.
You can't, and same thing with Smash. You can't unseat that power.
Well, I just think Smash is just kind of a
better
perfect game
yeah.
for, okay. I think I'm gonna go pretty off the beaten path here. But I'm also gonna go what I think is off the beaten path with my last pick. I have this guy on my dream team. Funny enough, I'm sure he wasn't on anyone else's radar. But when I was thinking of shows that that I'm familiar enough with to actually talk about these characters, and thinking about just chill dudes, just absolute chillers, who, again, maybe this is who Preston was thinking of before, because he is in a lot of ways like Uncle Iroh, but without any superpowers. But he's just an awesome dude. He loves being out in nature. He's a particularly strong surfer.
Oh, Daniel, don't do this.
Michelangelo. Sorry.
Well, who does Preston think I'm taking? I really don't know.
Oh, don't do this. This was going to be my pick if you actually take this.
Oh. I'm taking Tito from Rocket Power.
Oh,
that is one of the wilder snipes we've ever had on this show. It is such a tertiary character that I was like, I can absolutely hold this guy until round 6. No problem.
Sorry, man.
Oh, God.
He was on my dream team, like of my ideal 6.
Can you imagine sitting around the campfire and you're just hanging out and Tito and Uncle Iroh are just going back and forth with stories?
Incredible. I would never want to leave the island. Screw.
This is my new life.
I just want to hang out with these two guys. Yeah.
It's so good.
Agreed.
And now my whole plan is ruined.
I'm sorry. I thought you were doing the thing where I thought you were saying I was blowing my pick and you made me really nervous.
No.
I think it's a fantastic pick. I think he's like the best role player you could ask for. Because he's not going to want to do too much, but I think he's a great leader, but also wants other people to grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's not like he's never gonna make any kind of power play. Like he's totally comfortable in that that beneficial role to others. And honestly, it's not such a good time out there. He's gonna be like, I'm just here to smash some gnarly waves, brother.
Him and Mikey will hang out quite a bit, I think.
Yeah. Let's all be on the same island.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And then we're all together, and then the teams don't even matter.
Exactly.
We have everyone that's picked.
Or maybe our islands. Maybe we're just neighbors. There's island that we have
all
all
an
over.
archipelago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and we just swim over to your island.
All right, I can see Preston is.
I'm like massive. I'm just Googling people. I'm just Googling people at an unbelievable pace right now.
Steam is coming from his keyboard as he's trying to figure out a different 6th pick. I don't know that we can naturally stall any longer.
I have my one. I have one, and I'll let you guys talk about it while I find my next one.
Okay. This is the tactic. This is what I do when I know one pick but not the other.
Yeah.
You talk for way longer than you would normally about their first pick.
Yes.
And you try in the back of your head to think of a second pick while you're doing that. It never works for me, but that's what I always attempt.
So I'm not going to overthink this. Oh, wait, I got it.
Okay.
I think I got it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to overthink this with the first one here. And I'm just going to go straight down the middle. Guy runs a wildlife show, Nigel Thornberry. I mean, you guys, I think, got definitely the best of the available Thornberries and arguably probably the second best. But, I do think I win on this, on Nigel being a little more recognizable. So hopefully, that wins me some bonus points. And in the 5th round, I can't complain about the value.
I agree. I think that was smart to not let Nigel go undrafted. So, I applaud that.
Yeah, I feel like surface level, people are just gonna see Nigel in the 5th round and feel like it's a
steal. Yeah, I think so too. Even though I don't blame you guys for going the direction you did, but I do think it's a good value this late.
Yeah,
I'm taking the 3rd best quarterback. You know what I mean? When the first 2 were pretty good.
There you go. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the ultimate value play here. And boy, did this come in at the last possible minute, because it had not occurred to me in just now. There is a character in the Nick universe who's built for this, who was born to do it. Born to do it. Not just born to do it. Born to teach others how to do it. I'm taking Dora the Explorer.
Oh God.
Oh, what? That's
Huge
really
value.
good, actually.
Literally, this is all she
Okay.
does is goes on stranded desert islands and figures out where the treasure is.
She's got
This
a-
is all she does.
she's got a magical map.
She's got a magical backpack.
Does she get Boots with her too?
No, I think
No,
it's
okay.
only fair if
I don't think Boots.
I don't care about Boots.
I don't think he would
I don't
bring
give
any
two
value.
shits
Yeah.
about Boots. If anything, Dora's gonna be
Yeah.
more focused without Boots getting into shit.
Without
Yeah.
Boots.
She's gonna be more on top of her game. It's Dora the Explorer,
That's a
guys.
great
It's
pick.
literally in the name.
It's not
It's
my-
literally in the name.
Don't give him too much credit. She's also 6.
But it's in the name.
100%. That
Dan.
was going to be my next thing.
It's in the name.
But it's the name. Now, they did release the live action movie, which she was much older
Yeah.
than 6.
But that's not a Nickelodeon cartoon.
True. 100% accurate. I also think, I believe they've actually released a new version
Where she's
of
a 35-year-old
Dora.
like accountant. Because I would love that.
Well, you don't want to be accountant. I think you mean she's a 35-year-old Army Ranger
Yeah.
who has won
She's
every
this generation's
survival
General
award
Patton.
possible.
She's just leading our forces.
She's still
Yeah,
a
she's
child.
still a
She's
child.
still a child. But it's coming out April 12th. So
Listen,
Brand
we
And
all
you know
have
what?
to
With
look
my
forward to it.
combo,
that's right. I know you guys are watching it.
when I have Danny Phantom, there are no spirits getting to us. And when I have Dora the Explorer, there is no swiping.
I was going to ask
no
about
swiper, no
No
swiping.
swiper.
No, sir.
Well, I will say, I mean, I feel like you're pretty drastically devaluing your third round pick by saying that.
True.
Because I feel like most of the value of Danny Phantom is if there are ghosts, then Danny Phantom can handle.
Danny's also just like a good guy, but Swiper's not a ghost. He's a fox.
No, I know. I'm just
Right.
You're,
There's
you're,
no-
you're trying to make
there's-
that connection.
But you're-
I'm
There's no
just saying.
evidence that
You're given the
Dora,
classification,
I just
though.
typed it on my computer. Swiper, no swiping. I don't know what's happening. But there's no justification that Dora could like fight a ghost, but she could fight critters like foxes.
You're missing my point entirely. It's fine. I had Dora on my list, but I would have needed to be a lot more desperate than you should have been in the situation to be taken. in my
Wow,
opinion.
that was a big indictment. That was really big. That was a big
Yeah.
swing you just took.
I mean, she's on paper she's an explorer, but she
On paper,
I mean,
on
was
the
too old,
headline,
really,
she's an
for Dora.
explorer, my friend.
By
trade.
yes, but like she never in a situation where she's stranded on an island. Like the stakes are
I have a
never
question.
high.
Compared to all
Yes.
the other protagonists of Nickelodeon shows, how often has Dora failed and not succeeded? Jimmy Neutron
I mean, I don't know how many
fails
Nickelodeon protagonists are
consistently.
failing.
Timmy with his stupid little wizards
Nah, well-
fails consistently. Dora always wins.
That's fair.
She always
Jimmy,
finds
Jimmy
it.
always ends up on top.
Thanks to Goddard,
Jimmy always
maybe.
ends up
Could
on
you-
top.
Also, just side note, could you imagine a Dora episode where she didn't
Yeah.
complete
Where she falls
whatever
into
task it was?
lava
How
or
disappointed the children
Yeah.
would be.
Hard lesson for
Like,
the kids that
yeah.
episode.
Sometimes life doesn't.
Death happens at the end of it.
The actual drawback of Dora, beyond just being a child, she's immensely annoying.
Yeah, a little bit.
She's gonna be singing her stupid songs.
Backpack.
And, but after a week, it's like, yeah, Dora, you don't need the map to get to where we
It's a
set up
map.
lunch.
It's a map.
Okay,
It's
give it a
map.
rest.
It's a map. It's a
Give it a
map.
goddamn rest, Dora. You're gonna be making a wish to Cosmo that Dora.
She's also
becomes
going to be like,
mute.
do you know where we're going, Nigel? And they're going to be like, Dora,
Yeah, that's-
you
that's-
know where
yeah.
it is. Just tell us where it is. And be like, I need you to tell me where I
damn
hid it. Dora, just please tell us where
God
you
damn
hid
you,
it.
Dora.
Come on, Nigel. Tell me. Like, oh my God, Dora. But no, I understand the annoyance, but she's built for this, you know? I had to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I see the
Also-
arguments in her favor. I just think there's a lot of arguments against her as well.
Potentially another knock here. Sorry to just dig in here on Dora
That's
for Preston.
okay.
Please, no.
But
that's okay, Mike, by all
I think
means.
another knock is that like she has to be given all of the tasks and all of the things to do to be able to complete it. I don't think we've ever seen her freestyle. We've never seen her just completely get thrown a curveball and complete things. Like she's like been
there's
given
no child audience
Well,
at home to tell her where the thing is.
Here's
on
what
the
I'll
screen.
say, not to do your guys' work for you. there is no natural leader on this team. Nigel Thornberry tries to lead, but he doesn't.
He would be.
I think
Nigel might be the leader by default, seeing as he's the only one old enough to drive a car.
I was just about to say that. Yes.
Yeah. And then Cosmo is a little bit buffoonery, but very helpful.
You never want him in the lead. Yeah.
Aang the Avatar,
His
Danny
value is
Phantom,
obvious.
Goddard, and Dora the Explorer. It's not a natural leader, but I think I'll probably say Nigel is sort of team captain here. Or you know what? I'm on the island with him. I'm team captain. It's me. It's me.
there you go.
I'm the problem. It's me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Actually, in a way, if we are drafting for us specifically, actually, this is it is a great team for Preston.
Wait, why? Why do you say that?
For Preston to manage? For Preston to manage? Is
I
that
so
what you're
quickly
saying?
agreed with you, and then I realized you may mean something pretty offensive by that. So, what do you mean? Spell it out for me.
I just think of all the characters we've picked, Nigel Thornberry is the one that you're most like.
I need you to elaborate on that a little bit, Dan. We need some details on that.
I'm not going to elaborate in any way.
Preston's gone. Preston's gone. Oh, man. We need just him to have like a bright red mustache and stuff, too. I could totally see that. How good is his British accent? Doesn't he have like an English accent or something?
Let's hear it.
I can
Let's hear
speak
Nigel.
Scottish Gaelic.
Why do you know that?
I don't know. Okay.
That's cool. I'm impressed.
Nigel taught him. That's why. While they were on
That
the
is the
island.
meanest thing you've ever said about me, but let's just go ahead and move on. I almost just permanently left the show, but it's okay. It's power forward.
Listen, there just aren't a lot of characters that are like you. That's all it is.
1 in a million.
Yeah. All right. I feel so good about my team. I still am in just like don't pick anyone to fuck it up mode.
That's where you make mistakes.
So I'm actually
going
gonna
to
take
personal experience.
Yeah, I know. It really is. So I take the mountain here from Game of Thrones.
Famously a Nickelodeon property.
No, I want to take man's best friend here. He's not a robot. He is an actual dog, but he is clearly very intelligent, able to communicate and understand humans. The description of him on his wiki for the show he's from, unlike his owner, he laughs in eye of danger and doesn't hesitate to dive into adventure. Which, I mean, can you get better than that? I'm taking Pork Chop from Doug.
Interesting.
Oh, okay. Good, like, comrade to have with you.
Yeah, I mean, have we all played Baldur's Gate 3
Yes.
here?
Oh yeah, yep.
What's the best part of Baldur's
You
Gate
get to
3?
play fetch with the dog.
When Scratch joins
Yeah.
the camp, right?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm doing here.
Also, like,
playing
he will
fetch
just
with
occasionally
pork
bring
chop.
you things. Like, he brought me a grenade one time.
Yeah.
Incredible. Thank you, dog. You brought me this cool grenade.
It's very
God,
useful.
what a great game.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at with Pork Chop.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You're
All
not
right.
you're not doing a whole
I-
lot, but you're not
yeah.
taking away a whole lot. That's for sure.
No, but
exactly. I
but
don't
it's
feel like I
also-
need to do any more, frankly. So
No.
that's why I want Pork Chop.
and it's also a recognizable name from. I would probably say I'm closer to that generation of cartoons. Doug, Rugrats,
So you're
all that
spreading
stuff from
your
Nick.
fandom.
So it's a recognizable name. Yeah, from a potential recognizable franchise for your voters. So I think it's smart.
Thank you.
You could have went Quail Man though, from Doug
I
too.
didn't think of that.
Technically
think of that.
superpowers, right?
Yeah. What can Quailman? He can fly. What else can Quailman do?
I just remember he had a belt on his head and
belt on his
underwear
head,
outside of his
I
pants.
thought you were gonna take
Yeah.
cat dog. Just 2 birds, 1 stone.
No.
Dude, that was what I was thinking too. I was like,
I
man's
would
best
allow
friend.
as a partnership character because I
Exactly.
would
You
not
have to,
dare
I
to
think.
imagine
No,
them apart.
I think they would be that's horrifying. That would be a bad pick, I think.
Yeah, they're terrible. They would just
they
create
would-
conflict all on their
Yeah.
own.
Very, very negative for team morale, yeah.
Yeah, that was part of why I was hoping you were going to take him, but alas, pork chop.
All right, Mike.
Much better.
Mr. Irrelevant here. What's the last
Okay.
pick?
So, initially at the beginning, when I took Jimmy Neutron, I was going to try to team him up with Donatello. I felt like the two of them paired together would have been incredible for them to build engineer, Donatello to maybe mentor, keep an eye on Jimmy Neutron a little bit. But I don't want to go all 3 Ninja Turtles with my last
let's
pick.
not.
So I'm pivoting
That'll be a lot.
from that. Yeah, that's quite a bit. So I'm going from a franchise that we haven't even dipped into yet. And I'm kind of curious because it is a show entirely underwater. And we are on an island. So there's some pros and cons here. I don't know like the best pick here because I'm picturing like SpongeBob on an island drying up, probably not good, right? He's a
There's
sponge.
exactly one character who would be a good pick from SpongeBob.
Yeah, so maybe I'm going in this direction. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm going to pick Sandy Cheeks from
Yeah.
SpongeBob.
That is the one.
But okay. Canonically, a squirrel.
Yes. Correct.
So is the size of a squirrel? Okay. I mean,
correct.
you're just gonna have to, I guess, convince
Yes.
me of the value add here from just having a squirrel.
Oh, here
on
we
the
go.
island.
I've got a giant list of abilities and talents for Sandy Cheeks here that I'll hopefully sell her as
Let's hear
the
it.
last
Let's hear
pick in
it.
this draft. She knows karate. She knows science. She's shown to have a vast knowledge and passion of science.
She is very and I
She-
think like a natural scientist as well.
Oh, yeah.
basically. So
Same with math. She also invents things. She's invented several things on the show in several different episodes. She has survival skills that she's shown in the episode To Save a Squirrel. She knows how to sandboard jellyfish. She is a huge asset in the aspect of strength. She surprisingly has some weird superpower strength, bodybuilding, and muscle growth in the show. And she can cook. So there's a lot of abilities that Sandy kind of encompasses here as my last overall pick that I feel very happy about. And she technically fell into, so again, I had like 6 categories I was trying to fill. She fell into physical strength because of her ability of bodybuilding and muscle growth, but she has a lot of other things. She's kind of a wild card with this last overall pick that I'm very happy about. So Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob.
Preston,
I
seems like you
mean,
have thoughts.
I'm fine with it. I mean, like it would work.
Preston, you gotta go for the
No.
jugular here. This is a
It
terrible
doesn't-
pick.
I-
She's a
okay.
squirrel. She's a squirrel. I don't care about super strength. She's a squirrel. And listen, there's literally zero evidence that she has any capability whatsoever of communicating with humans.
Oh, good
None.
point.
No
Very
evidence
good point.
whatsoever. She's literally just going to be a squirrel in an astronaut helmet.
But this
that
is
everyone's
why-
like, people are just going to think it's a squirrel on the island, and probably you're going to kill it and eat it for dinner.
There you
What's
go.
interesting though is my third overall pick though can speak to animals. So I think
Oh,
we're
right. I forgot you had Eliza. God
I think we're covered there.
damn it, you got me there.
You are
got
going to
me
be
there.
pretty.
I still think it's
you're
not
gonna
a
be
great
pretty
pick.
unwilling to hunt when all the animals are given a name by one member of your crew.
True. How we can save that for the post the post draft discussion. But yeah, I don't like it, Mike. I all of the arguments are true for Sandy, but at the end of the day, she is a squirrel, and she's just going to be a squirrel on land. And I think even her like strength, and I mean, her brain is really the only thing I could buy. And I don't know how like much of a survivalist or how helpful her science will be in this situation. So to me, it doesn't. I would have gone a different direction. I think I probably would have gone with another. I just would have been like, you know what, screw you guys. I'm going with a different
Avatar
another
character.
turtle or an avatar.
Yeah, or
because
Avatar,
there were
yeah,
still a lot on the board.
Yep.
But that does conclude the draft. We have so much more to discuss clearly, but here are the teams at the end of our draft. Mike has Jenny Wakeman from My Life as a Teenage Robot, Jimmy Neutron, Eliza Thornberry, Master Splinter, and Michelangelo, 2 separate picks there, and Sandy Cheeks. I have Wanda, Cora, Uncle Iroh, Marianne Thornberry, Tito for Rocket Power, and Pork Chop, the dog from Doug. Preston has Cosmo, Aang, Danny Phantom, Goddard, the dog from Jimmy Neutron, Nigel Thornberry, and Dora the Explorer. So much more to discuss after one final quick break.
Unfortunately, it is an election year, but fortunately for you, If you are in the Georgia area or care about keeping up with what's happening in Georgia politics, the Georgia Politics Podcast, hosted by myself, has started back up. We're going to be releasing episodes every week, including some special episodes that are more in-depth interviews on subjects so you can actually get the full story instead of just some of the headlines. Would really appreciate you coming and checking it out, leaving us a review so that other people can find the show. It's going to be a tumultuous year, but we're going to do our best to keep you informed and on top of what's going on. And with that, back to the show.
Okay, usually I ask a question to start this segment off. No, you know what? Why just stick to the formula, Daniel? It's worked so far.
He just had a whole moment all on his own there, Mike.
You arguing with yourself here as we're going into the.
I think he can host this show just all by himself.
Why are we here, Preston?
We're a massive podcast. Why would we ever change anything about it? Who was left on your draft board at the end of the draft? I had several people who were, I had as options. We mentioned for Mike a different direction he could have gone with his last pick was going really anyone in the Avatar universe that has any kind of bending powers. But I think even Sokka would be a pretty good pick.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Sokka's love interest is just a badass warrior. But yeah, you have Toph, who main Avatar Earthbender.
Katara has healing powers.
Katara with
so
the also
very useful.
with the healing and with the water and everything. Other more humorous ones I had Norbert from Angry Beavers.
Yep.
I think just getting a sentient beaver on an island if there's trees could be pretty valuable. I mean, it's
Very
really going to help
helpful.
you build a structure that's livable. And then on the category of just someone who I think would be a riot to hang out with for a little while, Arnold's grandma from Hey Arnold.
Oh, dude, I agree with that.
That'd be a
That
great
would have been
time.
great.
What about you guys? Do you guys
all
have
right.
anyone else on your lists?
I had a couple in the sort of like planning category, like if I needed somebody to make a plan to get off. But then we sort of decided like you are having to spend time on here, so it's not like a massive sense of urgency. I had Cindy Vortex, who in many ways is shown to be smarter than Jimmy Neutron, and seems to get the upper hand on
last
Jimmy
name was
Neutron
Vortex.
quite a lot. Yeah. I had Plankton for
was on my
sort of the
list
same
as well.
reason.
Yep. He was on my list as well.
Plankton is Plankton. There's no way he would have been a good pick.
Yes, and then I also had Zim, Invader Zim.
So that was a show that I never watched, so I just didn't have nearly enough knowledge. I was like, probably an alien, with alien abilities and technology would probably be pretty useful, but I just didn't know enough about the show to be able to make an argument.
Well,
for
he's
it.
sort of crazy. Like I think he's almost just as likely to kill you as he is to save you. So I stayed away from that. And then I had a second category of guys that would just be cool to hang out with. I had Patrick Starr, obviously, I think for obvious reasons, but I do think the sunshine is a problem there.
Being on land
as we've
is
seen.
demonstrably bad for everyone in the SpongeBob universe except for
And
Sandy.
then I also had Donnie Thornberry, the crazy wildling type
The like
guy.
kid, yeah, the like
as a
Yeah,
cool guy to hang out
yeah.
with.
Yeah.
That was my
Yeah,
Following him
what a-
around would be entertaining.
Yeah, what a guy.
Yeah.
Who needs television? And then the last pick I had of just like a really cool utility player to have on the island, especially after some recent film that I've seen twice in theaters, was the Alaskan bullworm. I thought that'd be pretty sweet to have on the desert island.
Why didn't you go Alaskan Bullworm, Preston, in the end?
I wasn't confident in my ability to ride it.
I think you made a wise choice by not going that direction, I have to be honest.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we've already for me we've already talked about one of them. I was gonna go Donatello from the Ninja Turtles, but I didn't want to.
All right,
double too
so
much there.
you kind of teased this and then never came back to it because you ended up picking
100%.
him. What was the argument for Donatello? Tell me and other people who aren't as familiar with the
Donatello,
individual characteristics of the TMNT.
He's the turtle that knows machines, man. He's the smart guy. He's the geeky guy. He's
A lot of machines on a desert island.
Well, he does have a robot as his first pick.
It's 100%.
Good point.
And he's
point.
basically an engineer. He would make the resources available on the island work for his inventions. And I think him paired with Jimmy Neutron would have been incredible. You're talking about a month being stuck on this island. If those two were paired up, we'd be off the island in a week. But yeah, he's just incredibly smart. Again, one of the more like chill turtles that would have helped keep morale going too. I didn't want to double up that with Michelangelo though. So yeah, Donatello he's just smart. He's an inventor, and I think he could have kept Jimmy's faults at bay a little bit. But again, I didn't want to go Mikey, Splinter, and Donatello as my last 3 picks. That would have looked.
It would have been a little lame. Just for content, we appreciate you not doing that.
I also had appreciate it. Also had as in the same category. He was also an inventor back in with one of the cartoons I grew up with on the Rugrats. Was Stu Pickles. Stu Pickles, who is Tommy Pickles.
He's a bit of an inventor, right?
Yeah, but he's incredibly goofy. I don't feel like like if I needed something to be invented, I don't think I would go to Stu Pickles, but he at least crossed my mind for a second in my memory. Plus, there's a lot of cartoons when I grew up that were not like this. Time frame that we drafted from is probably a little bit past what I watched. So I grew up with Rugrats and Doug. Angry Beavers was in that. Real Monsters, like all of that time frame. So Hey Arnold would have been fun. A couple of characters from Hey Arnold would have been fun to hang out with, but nobody that I was like, I feel like they'd be beneficial on the island.
Use.
Yeah, a lot of that time frame cartoon characters were pretty useless for potentially being stuck on an island with them. So
yeah, I also like Rack Brain for Rugrats. Honestly, I really wanted to take some from SpongeBob because it's my favorite show, but there was no one that I think would have been a good pick.
It's underwater. It presents a technical challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I did worry, and when we were initially doing this idea with Brit, it did dawn on me kind of late. It's like, oh yeah, they're just a little bit older. They didn't hit that same sweet spot of cartoons.
They're
but
basically grandpas and grandmas.
I know, right?
God, they grew up with I Love Lucy and The Wheel.
Yeah.
I'm laughing so hard because
I grew up with I Love Lucy on TV Land.
Yeah, same.
Oh,
same.
yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, same actually. So what are we doing?
All right. Other than Mike inexplicably not taking a magical fairy creature that can grant any wish.
Yes.
What was the worst pick of the draft?
Ooh. I mean, other than that?
Yeah.
It's tough. I don't know these characters as well as
let's ask Mike. Mike, do you regret not going with a Fairly Odd Parent at one?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so let's move on. I think the worst pick in the draft, sort of by default, might be Pork Chop. I think it's a fine pick. Pork Chop just doesn't add anything.
I literally
Just
have a
another
fairy godparent. What else?
It's another mouth to feed.
I have a fairy godparent and an avatar. What more do I need?
Listen, so do I. I have both of those things too.
I know, but I don't need anything else.
But my dog can do 11 million and 4 things, unlike your dog.
Listen, I'm not saying my dog is better than your dog.
Your dog is for a different reason, though. You have a different purpose for your dog, and that's just that
Joy.
That comfort
For my human
of
beings
having
to pet, basically.
a real animal.
Yeah. I mean, I think Pork Chop's at least better than Sandy Cheeks.
I disagree, 100%. Again, going back to Preston's point, Pork Chop does nothing except for just sit there and want you to pet him.
Be a dog.
This is the perfect time to bring up the fact that Mike really, you put yourself in a situation, Mike, where you were still needing things in the last round, which I think was your real mistake.
Well, I didn't draft magical superpower people in the first 2 rounds, which
Yeah.
put me at a huge disadvantage. But
He also
I don't really
didn't
know-
know he was doing this until about 10 minutes to go.
I don't know why you didn't
Should
do that.
factor
But
in.
okay, yes, but after we did that, he then had 5 picks where he could have also done that and didn't do it.
Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to stay away from Avatar, 100%, because 3 of
Huge anti-Avatar fan.
the 3.
Just he
Let's
hates
see,
the
1,
Avatar.
2, 3, 4, 5. 3 of the top 5 picks were Avatar. Listeners,
Yeah.
I did that for you. I did that for
Yeah, that's
you.
true.
No, two of the top 5 were Avatar. And then,
And
and then
Uncle
three,
Iroh
three,
came
three,
a little
three of the
later.
first 7.
Oh,
Three
okay,
of the first
sorry,
7.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just trying to add some diversity. I'm adding some I'm adding some flavor to my team, knowing that
You went the
both
Mario route, the sprinkles route.
knowing that both Dap and Preston both went from the same 2 fandoms in the first 2 drafts or first 2 rounds. So I'm just
That
adding
is
some
true.
sprinkle of flavor to you guys listening that
This
needs
is
that needs
actually-
some diversity.
This is actually a perfect kind of encapsulation of the difference between our show and the Friggin' Nerd show,
100%. Yeah.
which is that Press and I are out to win the draft,
Yeah.
and Mike is out to just kind of, shine light on the things that bring him joy in his
Yeah,
life.
100%.
Daniel
And-
is out
yeah.
to win the draft, and Preston is out to try and be competitive with Daniel. And then the friggin' nerds are just like trying to bring enjoyment and joy
And then
to
and then
people's
and then the
hearts.
Friggin' Nerds are just happy people who enjoy their lives.
100%. Yep.
Boo! Come on.
I should have just went all Ninja Turtles franchise. My entire picks, all of
No,
my
yeah,
picks.
just get all 4 of
I
them.
Yeah.
think that would have been a mistake. Who would have your 6 been? Splinter and then
Shredder.
the four
Shredder.
turtles.
Just
Who's
Shredder,
6?
right?
To give them something to do. Their
Yeah,
main
to give them a
antagonist.
villain to go chase after on the island. For the
Surviving on an island isn't enough for them, huh?
That's right. No, we
Nope.
need another twist in the story. Add Shredder into the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. It would be Splinter of the 4 Turtles, and I mean default like April O'Neil, but she doesn't really bring too much. Casey Jones is kind of a hothead like Raph is, so I don't know if he'd be
April, she's
helpful.
just cool, right? And like
Yeah, April
for
would be good.
chemistry and camaraderie.
Is she in different iterations of the Turtles too? She has different skills and abilities, so she could be helpful. I guess it'd be April. I'd probably have to go April. Yeah.
Okay. Final question of the show. Who had the best draft? Whose team is going to best survive on an island? Stranded on an island.
Well, I do think I'm going to just go ahead and pick mine.
Okay.
I think the Goddard pick is unbelievable value. Like, the best Swiss Army knife you can possibly imagine. It is the thing you might most want to be stuck on a desert island with. You're like, I feel comfortable now.
Mm-hmm.
Second is Daniel, and I do think it's close between the two of us. If it weren't for the Goddard pick, I think it would be very, very close.
Here's my question. What is Goddard giving you that you aren't getting from Cosmo?
Yeah, but okay. So if you have Wanda, I have Cosmo, so wash.
So
you have
here's-
Avatar, I have Avatar, so wash.
Yeah.
And then we go to the rest of our teams, and I think mine is significantly better.
I just don't think that's true. I
think there's
Mike,
a
what do you
problem.
think?
We both
No,
have
no,
a
so-
Thornberry, so wash.
So definitely pointing this out. I think the biggest problem with y'all's teams in terms of arguing anything is that your first 2 picks were fairy godparents that can do literally
A little
anything.
busted.
So
A little bit
any,
busted.
So anything that's like, well, what could this character do that Cosmo couldn't? You know, it doesn't matter.
This is why I think my team is better than Preston's, because Preston basically covered every base of his first 2 picks, and then kept trying to cover bases. Whereas I covered everything with my first 2 picks, and then was like, I just want cool people to be around, and I'm just gonna have a good time because I know literally
Yeah, but
everything
what if-
I'd ever need is taken care of.
What if first day you're on the island, Wanda gets eaten by a saber-tooth tiger?
True.
Well, then I have a demigod who controls all of the elements to help me.
Eaten by a woolly mammoth.
Yes.
A woolly mammoth?
It would have been.
This is a wild island you're on.
It's really unfortunate for those 2 characters for you too, Dap. If you had a character that could speak to animals before they got, chowed down,
Alive?
yeah, then you would have been in really good shape.
Mike's
Listen,
making a good point.
there's no evidence that Eliza can talk to woolly mammoths.
I think there's a pretty strong
There's a-
implication, though.
You would assume
No, you don't-
that
you
if
don't
woolly
think-
mammoths were alive,
You don't think animal language evolved from the time that woolly mammoths are around to the modern time?
Well, probably, but like
She'd be the woolly mammoth would be speaking some ancient language that Eliza would never understand.
But doesn't she? Isn't it more mind reading?
No, they like. I'm pretty sure they like actually talk to her.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't
Like,
remember.
I mean, she talks to Darwin, and Darwin moves his mouth and everything for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I
I
think
don't
it's.
have a great
Yeah.
response to your.
And I love how we're arguing this on a theoretical that both of your first two characters got
Are killed
chowed
by a
down
bully
by
mammoth.
these two
Yeah,
animals.
they got absolutely mauled to death.
Oh. No, Preston,
if-
Preston does have the backup though. Preston does have the backup. The topic of the
redundancies.
draft. The topic of the draft is surviving with these folks, and he's got more "quote unquote" survival skills with the rest of his picks. You have more like, let's hang out and vibe with the
Let's
rest
vibe.
of your picks.
I mean,
yeah.
let's not diminish Uncle Iroh and Marianne Thornberry's survival capabilities, and frankly, Tito's too.
What's Tito? What's Tito doing?
He's just like a nature dude. Spends his days on the ocean, you know, out riding the waves.
Okay.
He at least would be home on a beach, you know.
Okay. Okay.
I think you are giving yourself too much credit for as you just called them, redundancies. I think
You've
first time
got to
in my
be
life,
worried about members of your team being eaten alive by animals. You got to plan
first
for that.
first time in my life I've heard that touted as a positive. But
One person would call it redundancies. One person would call it backup plans.
there you go.
That's true. Thank you.
But all that
So-
said, my team is the best because it
Okay, I
has
was
the
about to
most
ask.
diversity. We've got the pick here. Unfortunately, I didn't go super magical demigod / fairy godparent that can do anything
that was a
that
mistake
you can
by you.
everything. Yeah, I agree that may have been a mistake. But I'm also bringing a lot of skill to and a lot of survivability here with my picks. And I think that everything that can be said about oh crap, what's the robot dog's name?
Goddard.
Goddard.
Everything can be said about Goddard can be said about my first overall pick. Now I do agree, probably not the best comparison because you did get Goddard in the third round, but Jenny fourth round.
was the
But
fourth round, yeah.
but Jenny can do pretty much everything that Goddard can do. Splinter and Michelangelo both survived the sewers. They live in the sewers. The island is not going to be that much different. You know, they've got water that they can at least Michelangelo as a turtle can go out in, survive in, swim in, all kinds of good vibes here with Michelangelo, liking the surfing. Yeah, I just, you know, it's tough to argue in terms of super powered fairy godparents versus my team, but
Mike,
I've got skill.
because we have discussed, we're spending at least, you know, probably about a month on this island.
Yes.
Like, who are you becoming buddies with here?
Oh, Mikey, 100%.
Isn't he a teenager? Isn't that in the name?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he's a teenager. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Listen, to Mike's credit, I have like an actual 6-year-old. So
Yeah, and I knocked you for that as well.
Yeah,
yeah,
Preston's-
but really, both of you are. I mean, Preston has Cosmo, who I think is inarguably an adult, and then he has Nigel. Otherwise, he is what 12. I think is fair for Aang, a 12-year-old. Danny Phantom probably what 15, 16?
16, yeah.
And then Dora, who's, you know, a kindergartner. And then Mike has Jenny,
A
who is
very smart and capable kindergartner.
Mike has Jenny, who, while a robot, also has the personality of a teenager. Jimmy Neutron, again, probably like in the 5th grade range. Eliza, who, while certainly precocious, still a child with childlike interests. A teenage turtle, a squirrel, and then an old rat man.
Yeah. So Splinter and I got stuck with
Old rat man.
We're like on the babysitting airline or something that we crashed with the kids. Yeah. You know, look,
that is-
I also just want to put this in perspective a little bit here. We are drafting from children's cartoons, so I don't know. I
true.
don't
Yeah,
know.
Dan.
I don't know if
Shut up.
ages. I don't know if ages should be argued here very much.
Well, I certainly took it into consideration.
How many
but-
children's cartoons do you know that star a bunch of 35-year-olds?
Yeah, I mean 35 probably not a whole lot, but there are certainly adult figures. I am very curious to see how the draft goes because even though Preston and I did a really kind of mirroring starting picks, we went very different directions after that. So
Yes.
a very differing 3 options here for who you think had the best draft. Mike, thank you so much for joining us, man. Especially under such late notice and on a topic
Duress.
that maybe is not in your natural wheelhouse. We appreciate you.
100%. Yeah, but I mean, all Ninja Turtle draft I could have done.
Oh boy, you would smoke me. I'll give you that right now. We don't have to do the draft. Mike, I know that you're not spending as much time on the Friggin' Nerds channel these days. Is there anything else that you would like to shout out, even if it's not something
Yeah.
you're doing necessarily?
Well, no, definitely.
The moment is
definitely-
yours.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely want to shout out Friggin' Nerds Media. So go check it out. Mario and Lee are kind of manning the ship at the moment. Britt and I have
James
taken-
as well.
James has been on the
nights?
podcast as well. Yep. So they're kind of manning the ship. Britt and I took a little bit of a step back and for family time and just getting some of our just life in general in order as parents. So definitely go check them out. Friggin' Nerds Media over on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all that, or X, I guess now, all that good stuff.
It'll always be Twitter here.
Nope.
Right,
This
I
is
know,
a
I'm
show
like-
that refuses to
Thank
update
you.
that
Thank you.
particular
Good.
terminology.
Twitter.
No,
Twitter.
thank you.
I'm also over on Twitter. I've been in the Lorcana world a lot in my free
Crushing
time.
it in the Lorcana world.
it's-
Seems like such a fun thing, but I feel
Yep.
so unbelievably behind. I don't know how I would even start. I played maybe 3 or 4 games digitally, and then I was like, this seems great. And then I'm immediately like 6 expansions behind.
Well, Preston, this is a little tease for you here, okay? So this next set that's coming out, it's called The Return of Ursula, and it comes with a co-op campaign that is very similar to Marvel Champions.
oh my lord.
So they
Really?
have like storylines built into the background of the game, and so at the end of each like saga, essentially, they are going to release a co-op campaign. So every like 3 or 4 sets, there's going to be a co-op campaign that gets released. So
idea.
I'm trying to get you in there, Preston.
Now might
Come
be the
on.
time.
Yeah.
Huge Marvel Champions fan, as
Yeah.
I know you are too. So yeah, that might be the time to
Yeah, I was just say Preston saying he doesn't know how to get in. You got the expert right here.
Oh man, I can
That's
get you
true.
in, man. Yep, I can get you in. So yeah, I'm doing
This
all
is our
that.
dealer.
Yep,
Let
come
him
on,
be the
baby.
master splinter to your Mike. Which
Donatello. Which
change names
which
would
turtle
always
am I
Preston?
most like? Yeah.
Ooh, that's
Do it
a
for
good
both of us.
question. Oh, both. Okay, all right. Let's see. Yeah, I think I've got to go with Preston is Donnie and Dap is Leo. I
See, I don't even know how to.
Donatello and Leonardo.
I don't
Okay.
know how to feel about it because I don't.
Well,
know them.
he did say, Dan, if I could interject here, that
Please.
he drafted Michelangelo for being the smartest and calmest, and neither of us are that one.
No, Michelangelo is definitely not the smartest. Donnie is. Donnie is the smartest.
Okay.
Preston got Donnie. Dap
Hey!
Dap has the natural leadership abilities of Leo. So,
Interesting. I like it.
Yep.
Okay.
I
All
like
right.
it.
but all that said,
what-
Twitter at Mike Burkey over there on Twitter. All in the Lorcana space right now. So if you're interested in learning how to play, if you're interested in seeing some of my gameplay, I'm over on. I'm posting videos still on Friggin' Nerds Media on YouTube. So go check it out. Lorcana is great. I love it. Mike Burkey on Twitter.
Very cool. Yeah, go support Mike. He is a good dude and big member of the drafted family. So go show him some love. And he is going to be joining us, I believe, for our Patreon special. I have to sneeze. It's
Do it.
Oh,
Put him
Lord.
on.
Oh, my God.
leave it in.
Never has that happened on this show.
Yeah,
He's
I can't remember
He's
ever
so
sneezing.
quick with the mute button that it usually doesn't come through.
Oh,
but
I
he
didn't
was
even think to mute.
He was
let it happen.
mid-sentence this time.
I was-
He
I
was
was-
mid-sentence. He's like, I can't do it.
I was so consumed by the need to
Oh
sneeze that
my
my brain
God.
couldn't think of anything else. You can leave it in. I mean, I don't know how bad that sounds, probably, but
I mean, listen, I got to be honest with you two bros. I don't edit the show anymore. So
There
you guys are like,
Then
leave
it's
it in.
in it.
Everything is left in. We've gotten pretty
Oh,
good
my
at
God.
staying away from the truly heinous things
I hope
unless
that's
Pat is on.
not
Yeah.
true of John's
Well,
episode. I hope you
No,
edit some things in
no, I did edit some things out of John's episode, and every
God.
time Pat is on, I have to edit a little bit more.
Okay.
But with the friggin' nerds are always so wholesome. I don't touch the dang things.
There is no editing on the Patreon specials though. What we say goes on up. So check
That's
it
actually
out.
not true for the John thing. We would have gotten absolutely taken off the internet.
Is that true?
I
thought
paywall or not, we were donezo. So I
thought
took
all
it
the
out.
I thought all the bad stuff he said was on the normal episode. Anyway,
Did you
we'll
listen
discuss
to it?
this.
Yeah, it's missing some stuff you may have blocked out of your memory, but no, no
yeah,
worries.
I mean,
No
I
problem.
try to black out these recordings as soon as they're done.
Very fair.
But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this Patreon special. Preston has a treat for us. So if you have been considering joining Patreon, I mean, you get access to everything we've ever done. It's your last chance to get discount on March Drafted merch for this go around. Also, just to do your last chance to get March Drafted merch. So be sure to go check that out. And yeah, otherwise, we will talk to y'all in a couple weeks.